I'm setting the camera up here, so I'm just making sure that you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so are people showing up? Yes, we have people. Oh, 21, pretty quick. Everybody's pretty interested in apple crisp. Alright. I'll give you a shot of the wounded dog here. There's the wounded dog. He's a living. Alright. So we're back to the apple crisp. Got a little distracted there, guys. I can't help it. It's my dog. Alright. So alright, that's it. Is the audio good, guys? Can you hear me? I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. I guess the audio's not working. Nobody's responding. Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Inga. All right. Okay. So this is the deal, guys. This is my my modified recipe for apple crisp. I've pre-measured everything, and I've even wrote it down here on a piece of paper, my measurements, so I can tell you on camera. And later on today, after the stream, I'll post the exact measurements of everything I've done below in the description. Okay? So first thing you start off with is a 4 liter. I don't know what it is in imperial on this one, guys. It just says in the bottom 4 liter. It's a Corningware 4 liter container. It's about 2.5 inches deep. Okay? This is the size. It's overkill, but this is the size I like making it. Because the reason I've gone, the original recipe I showed you was shallow dish. Shallow dish sucks because you don't get enough applesauce happening. Oh, forgot to wash my hands. Got to keep the food safety happening here, even though I've already touched the apples with my hands. All right. So basically, I like to fill it up so that it's, as you can see, it's about that full. All right, here's what I do. Which is this bag. I think the bag holds about, I think it was 2 pounds of apples, 1.75 pounds. So it's probably about 1.5 pounds of apples that's in here. Whatever the dish holds. Okay. I like more apples because when you cook it, the apples make a nice sauce inside. Where if you don't put enough apples in, like if you use a shallow dish, you don't get enough appley effect to it. Okay? So now the next thing you do, now you're supposed to use 60 milliliters of lemon juice. I use this is a lemon lime mixture. It's a 50-50, 50% lime, 50% lemon, and how I tell is I have a green cap because I mix it up. And I just like my lemon lime mixed up. So I just squirt the crap out of it. A lot more than 60 milliliters. But that's what the recipe says. So now you do this. You take 2 cups of brown sugar in this part of the recipe. This recipe is like this. Well, because it's overkill size, it's serious. I'm gonna die because I can't have this much nummy nums in the house. I can't control myself. So the lemon lime mixture is to help it get coated on the apples. Plus, it stops the apples from going brown because apples will go brown really fast. Even though these are pre-treated apples, as in I use a salt brine when I freeze them. But it also gives a little bit of a tang taste on the apple crisp. So, and makes that nice apple sauce on the bottom when you're cooking. Okay, so that's all you do with that. It's very simple. You let that sit while we prepare the next stage. So we've got that. That's our base. Okay, so we'll put that aside for right now. Now the next thing. Get yourself a big bowl like this. If you're making it in this size of an apple crisp, like I said, guys, you can make it smaller. It's not a big deal. I just don't bother making small ones because they don't last very long here. So the next thing is 600 milliliters or 2 2/3 cups of, I use whole wheat flour instead of white flour. I'm not a big fan of white flour. That's the only reason. And I find that it just gives a little more of a wholesome taste to it. And then the same thing goes, 600 milliliters or 2 2/3 cups of oats. cut it to 2/3 here. And we got 2/3. Now, I find that if you mix this up now as you're going, I find it a lot easier to get a mix happening while it's dry, to get it all mixed together and just get it so that it's even, so you're not trying to deal with it all clumped in. So you just get it so there's just, you know, just so the flour and the oats are mixed together. Okay. So the next thing is we need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, but we're going to do the salt first. I always like to do the salt first, which is 1 teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt, and I actually use 1.5 because it's sea salt and not regular salt of teaspoon. But if you're using regular salt, I don't use more than 1 because you do taste the salt. So now we're going to go with the nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and be very careful that it's only 1 teaspoon, or you get that real pumpkin pie smell to it. You don't want that. So 1 teaspoon of that, and then we go with 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now the recipe calls for 2 by going by proportion, but I prefer 3 teaspoons. So I sort of follow the recipe and sort of not. You know what I mean? I wing it. It's pretty close. Okay. Now you mix this up again. I find that it's just easier to keep it mixed up. Keep it so it's even, because when you do the final mix, it's so much easier if this is already sort of pre-mixed. And then you add 2 cups of brown sugar. I've already pre-measured that, obviously, because I had to do 2 cups in my other measuring container. So, and it's a good idea that you don't use, like, you know, you get brown sugar that's being attacked by humidity where you get the clumps. It's nice if your brown sugar is flaky and not clumps, because if you have the clumps like I'm experiencing right now because of the humidity here, it makes it a lot harder to mix it all up. As you can see, I got a bunch of brown sugar balls in here, so we got to break those up. See, normally in an edited video, we'd edit this all in, but you're going to watch me break it up. You can use a fork, you know, to break it up. There's different ways, but it's just because of the humidity right now. Not bad, actually. I hate that in the grocery store sells, you know, they have brown sugar on sale, and then you get it home and it's like bricks because you know, it's like too much moisture happens somewhere in the warehouse somewhere, and it's like you got brown sugar at home, you could build a house with it. Those are really hard to break up. Okay, so now you've got it mixed up. This is 1 pound of, I use unsalted butter because I just like unsalted butter, but it's 1 pound of butter, 2 cups of butter, or 600 milliliters of melted butter. And you put it in, and we mix her up. And you got to do it by hand. There's no shortcuts. You can't use a machine. It doesn't work. But she all mixes up. And it's nice if you have a thick handled wooden spoon. This one's too thin. It actually is not comfortable to use. A nice thick handle is nice for this because it is pretty stiff stuff to mix. But it doesn't take long to mix. Like she's already mixed up here. Oh, I'm going to regret this, you know. I'm not going to have supper tonight. We got, what, how many people here? 124 people watching the Apple Crisp event. The live Apple Crisp. But these are wild apples. So it's a really, really strong taste. Domestic apples, I'm not a big fan of because they just don't have the taste, and they go really soft. These guys, you have to really cook the crap out of these to get them to soften up. Okay, so now we have the dish, and this is where we just pack this stuff on. Now, this is totally overkill, guys. I'm not kidding you. Normal people do not. Everybody, even my mother, my grandmother, absolutely everybody I know doesn't do it like this. Because it's, well, one, it's very expensive to make, and it's just overkill. But the reason I do it this way is because there's so much apple in here that it makes this unbelievable applesauce on the bottom. And this thick crust on top, it's just wicked. Because normally you don't do this. Like when you do make an apple crisp, normally you actually will see apples sticking up. When I'm done here, you won't see any apples sticking up at all. Well, there's a little bit of an apple there, but not much. Oh, this is going to be so good. I haven't had an apple crisp in so long. This is it. That's it, guys. That's how easy it is to make. Now, normally, this size of dessert would probably feed, not feed, would be dessert for pushing 16, 18 people. I'll eat this in 2 days myself. I will live on apple crisp for 2 days. I'm not gonna lie. That's what's gonna happen. This isn't a health show. This is about a wild apple crisp. Okay, so now, normally you put it in for 375 or 190 degrees Celsius for about 45 to 50 minutes. So actually the recipe calls for 35. It's a shallow dish, but because this is a deep dish, plus it's frozen apples, it takes a little longer. But I like cooking it a little bit slower because I find 375, it gets a little bit brown on top. Or burnt, I mean, burnt, I mean, and I don't want it to burn. I want it to be golden brown on top. So I cook it at 350 instead of 375, and I go like probably it's going to take a solid 50 minutes to cook this because, like I said, you want to make sure the apples are nice and soft. Make a nice applesauce in the bottom, and it's just drop dead dessert, nummy nums. So we'll go over to the oven, and we'll put it in, right? So, here we go, guys. This is it. I preheated the oven before I started, obviously. Now, with the magic of video, it's done. All right, we'll take it out. I edited that. No, I'm just kidding. Because with live, this is how it works, okay? No, my stove is not clean, guys. I haven't cleaned my stove since last year. I'm slipping big time on the stove situation. So that's, no, you don't need ice cream. You can put ice cream and whipped cream on top of it. That is an option if you're interested in that stuff. It does crank it up a little bit more as far as the taste experience is concerned. But honestly, that's enough. Trust me, when you start eating that, look out. So basically in 50 minutes, I should set the timer, right? Oh well, 50 minutes, it will be done. Almost forgot the most important thing, because we don't want to burn it. That would suck. Would it ever? It would suck a lot, actually. Because now I'm craving apple crisp. 2 years in the making, and here it is, folks, live. So that's it. That's how you make apple crisp. And that's how easy it is. And it's no big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream now, and I'm going to post the recipe below the stream so that you have it, and you can basically, I'm sharing it with you. So, but like I said, that's like 18, 20 people worth of dessert, is what it is. So I'm going to end the stream, put the description. I have to go outside, take care of the ducks. I got duck tours to do. I've just got duck stuff to do right now, and then I'm going to have a nap while this cools off, and then I'm going to ruin my supper. That's what's going to happen here today. Well, as soon as I can end this.